Hi everyone, thank you so much for clicking onto the link today. I hope you've got a cup of tea or coffee and a comfortable chair because I want to just talk to you for a few minutes today. Every year on Christmas Day at 3 o'clock, the Queen does her famous Queen's speech. And I've been tuning in the last few years and have been really impacted by the way her faith has come through that speech. So I'm going to do my own version of a speech to you today and just share my heart about last year and then about looking forward to 2018. It reminds me of when the Queen in 1992 talked about her annus horribilis, her horrible year that she'd had. But for us, 2017 has been our annum significans, which is Latin for significant year. 2017 has been an incredibly significant year for us as a church. We've launched our new name, Life Central Church. We've built a new building in Halzone, which is so good. We've launched our Vision 2020, what the strategic plan that we feel the Lord has given us for the next 3 years. And as part of that, this kind of a strategy of becoming a multi-site church, one church in different locations. So we launched our first new location on Easter Sunday in Hagley, and that church, now 7 or 8 months old, is going really well, connecting with new people in the community, seeing new people added to the church. Fantastic. And then a few weeks ago, I shared with you that another Elim church, the Brick House Elim Church, has been approaching us, and we've been in prayer and in conversation with their leadership. And so we're going to be taking that church on from January as well. And the hope that is by next Easter, we will be one church in 3 locations. This has been an incredibly significant year. And as I reflect over the year, I believe that the Lord has been so good to us. I believe you have been so faithful. And I think the fire helped us. We're now in a much better position financially. God is doing some great things. We've had some new staff. We've had Sam has joined us as a children's pastor in January. We have Sean Griffiths joining us as an operations manager. And we're looking for a pastoral staff member to join us as well. So things are really, really good. But as we turn the year into another new year, I have a word that I believe God has given us for this year, 2018. And I believe the word is this, that this year is all about building bigger people. We've been in building projects for a long time now, and we believe that season has come to an end. We've now got big spaces to accommodate growth. But now our focus and our attention must be on building bigger people. The world that we live in is in a state of uncertainty at the moment around Brexit and the economy and our social fabric and cultural changes in terms of values and in terms of big issues in our sociology, really. And we as Christians, sometimes we can want to shrink back or retreat back and almost, enclose ourselves in our Christian communities. This is not the time for that. This is the time for us to build bigger people so that we can invade our world and be carriers of hope into our culture around us. It reminds me of that story when the children of Israel were in the wilderness. And the leaders, Moses, then said, go into the promised land and spy it out. And they all came back. Remember those 12 spies? And they said, the land that you want us to go into is exactly as you've said. It's amazing. But there are giants there. And they're so big that we appear like grasshoppers to them and in our own eyes. But interestingly enough, years later, when they finally do go in, the people in that land said, when you came in our land, we were frightened of you. Here's the thing. You see, the perception is that we're small and the giants are big. We need to change that. The giants may be big, but our God is even bigger. And we need to build bigger people who can go into their workplace, who can go into their communities and their schools and their colleges and make a difference for God. And that's going to be our focus for the next year in 2018. It reminds me of a verse in the Bible. It's one of my favorite verses from the Message translation in 2 Corinthians. And it says this, dear Corinthians, I can't tell you how much I long for you to enter this wide open, spacious life. We didn't fence you in. The smallness you feel comes from within you. Your lives aren't small, but you're living them in a small way. I'm speaking as plainly as I can and with great affection. Open up your lives, live openly and expansively. So I want to share this with you folks. As you get ready for Christmas, bigger people are people who own their own faith and who live it out. Can I just say, baptism is such an important milestone in your Christian journey. We should get baptized, A, because the Bible commands it, Jesus himself was baptized, but it's a great way of declaring publicly that you now are following God and you want other people to know that. It's so important. Secondly, bigger people are generous people. And we're going to be speaking into generosity over this next year as well. I'm so touched and overwhelmed by your generosity as a community, not just financially, but in the way that you serve and the way that you give. But I do think that God wants to teach us even more about what generosity looks like and how generosity can change our world. Bigger people are people who invest in others. And that means in 2018, investing in discipleship, discipling younger people in the faith, investing into the emerging generations, investing into our families. Can I just say one thing about this as well? Many people in the church, in the Western world, in Europe and North America, are recognizing a trend that is happening. That because we have so many options in our society now, we're choosing, when we come and gather as church. And when I grew up, I used to go to church twice a Sunday, every Sunday. Now it's not uncommon for people who say they're committed Christians to go to church once or twice a month. Now I get that. But I do say there's a danger in that. If you want your children to follow Jesus the rest of their lives, building into them the discipline of gathering together is so important. It's one option amongst many. But if we make it one option amongst many, we devalue the importance of gathering. And if you want your young people to build community with other young people who are also Christians, you've got to give them a chance to do that. So I want to encourage you as we go into 2018 to make gathering together once a week on a Sunday a priority in your family's life. Bigger people do that. Bigger people also invite others into the journey as well. And I want to encourage you I've been so overwhelmed really as we've just done the Christmas production and we've seen over 1,100 people come at Halzowen and Hagley, which is incredible. So many new people come. Many of them have signed up for Alpha in the new year. And if you have invited someone to the Christmas production and maybe they didn't sign up for Alpha, here's your opportunity. Bigger people, have that conversation with them and even say, as I heard someone say over the weekend, I've signed up as well so that I can come with my friend to the Alpha course. That's amazing. You could do that as well. But bigger people finally are people who invest in their own faith and who grow in their faith. And I want to give you a heads up. In the month of March next year, we're going to be taking the whole month of March as an investment into you and to build your faith. It coincides with the period of Lent just before Easter. We're going to kick it off with our second I Grow conference, the 3rd and the 4th of March. We've got some amazing speakers coming in. And then all the way through March, midweek, we're going to be not gathering as life groups, but gathering together centrally in Halzowen to look at some big issues and to invest in each other and in our faith. I really want to encourage you to put those dates when they come out in your diary and make that a priority. So as we come into 2018, what are we going to do to kick off the new year? Well, our first series in 2018 is going to be a belter. We're going to start on the 7th of January. It's called Awakening, Finding Your Way Back to God. And for 5 weeks, we're going to look at one of the stories in the Bible, which is at the heart of what it means to be a follower of Jesus. And that's the story of the prodigal son. We're going to look at the character of God. We're going to look at who he is. We're going to look at us as people, how we get disconnected from God. Some people go away from the house. Some people stay in the house and still get disconnected from the Father's love. We're going to look at some issues like longing and regret and what real life is and love and generosity. I want to invite you to make that first series in 2018 a priority for you and invite people to it as well. We then have an encounter on the 9th, Tuesday, the 9th of January. And again, that's a great opportunity to invest together and to set the year in its right context, to worship and to pray. Finally, I want to just wish you all an incredibly happy and peace-filled Christmas. On behalf of myself and Alison and the elders and the staff, we are so honored to serve you and to walk and to journey and to do life with you guys. You're an incredible church. And I just want to encourage you, over the Christmas period, we've got no services on Christmas Eve or on the 31st of December. We've got 2 Sunday mornings off there. But what we have got is that on Christmas Eve in the evening, we've got an 11 o'clock at night communion service. It'd be great to see you there. It'll be traditional and carols and a choir and candlelight. Then we've got Christmas Day, 11 o'clock, 45-minute all age. Then on Boxing Day, we've got our traditional football match, younger versus older, 10 o'clock at Halzowen College. Then on the 31st, no services, but you can come to the Halzowen site for coffee and for fellowship time, or you can join us up at Clent Hills in the Nimmins Road car park for a winter walk at 10 a.m. And then we're back on, everything going on the 7th of January. Finally, I just want to pray for you, and as your pastor, it's such an honor and a privilege to share with you life and to journey with you. And I want to just read this to you. During this Christmas season, may you be blessed with the spirit of the season, which is peace, the gladness of the season, which is hope, and the heart of the season, which is love. God bless you, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this message. Have a great Christmas. And whenever we see you, let's imagine and let's believe that 2018 can be an incredible year as we, together with God, build bigger people.